All right, can we do one thing before we get started? Can we go around the room, just kind of intro everyone, and I want everyone to kind of know each other, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll just and then we'll jump straight into this. And I just want to have really open dialogue too through this time, and I'll share a little bit of my story, who I am, and then we'll kind of talk through it. But one question I want to ask, if you don't mind answering, is do you use any type of ad, Google ad or anything like that currently as a church, or have social media as a church and where you're at? So can we start here? Just
Yeah,
who you
sure.
are, what church you're from, and
Yeah,
if you guys are using anything like that.
my name's Catherine Kramer. I'm from Crow Hill Bible Church in Bailey, Colorado. And we have social media. I'm fairly new. I don't know what we do with Google.
Okay,
So,
awesome.
but social media.
Cool, awesome.
I'm Lori Wicker from Compass Church in Concord, Colorado. Our social media is kind of a hot mess, but we do have it.
Nice.
And we apparently have a Google business.
Page?
But I'm
Yeah.
also
Yeah,
very
we have a
new.
page.
Yeah,
but I
Google's
don't know
page
the
also.
ad.
Yeah.
Very new as well to my role, and so I'm trying to get a handle on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm Francis Blanco, I go by Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Yep, and from Filipino Church to the Filipino Church.
Awesome.
Denver. And we do have a website. We are searchable on Google.
Yeah.
If you search Filipino Church,
Yeah.
we're the first one to show up.
Amen.
And we have Facebook and
Awesome.
Zoom meetings. And
Yeah.
everything.
Way cool. Awesome.
And that's my son Jimmy.
Oh, awesome, Mom. Way cool. Love it.
I'm Priscilla. And right now we're blessed to share the good news worldwide
Yeah.
through our different dialects.
That's
We
amazing.
call it Luz Biminda. Philippines is Luz Bim, three
Big Island, main island.
Luzon, Visayas,
Yeah.
Mindanao. So we are reaching to OFW,
Wow.
overseas workers, and thank you Lord for
Yeah,
giving us that privilege.
that's amazing.
I'm gonna speak for her behalf. I'm Alan, and this is my wife Dean. We are all from the Filipino Church
Love
in
it.
Denver.
Yeah.
And yeah, we do have a website, and we are doing online streaming every Sunday.
Yeah.
And it's really amazing that we are reaching people,
Amen.
Filipino people
Yeah.
all over the world.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And yeah, if you search the Filipino Church Denver, the Filipino Church Colorado, that's the first
I love it.
thing that will pop
Yeah.
up.
You guys done a good job. That's amazing.
Right.
Way cool.
Juan Alvarado from Glenwood Springs. We have Facebook, Instagram, we have the Google page, we have a website, but under construction.
Yeah.
Like we barely use it. Like we don't update it much,
Sure.
and the problem is finding someone that's able to work on
Yeah.
that for us.
Got it. Good to know.
I'm Andy Jones. I do first impressions here at Cheyenne Hills. So
Right.
we have Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and then I know we do search engine optimization.
Cool. SEO, yeah.
Yeah, and so but I just started in August. So I'm a little new
Yeah.
to some of that stuff. But
Absolutely.
I'm Anna Walser and with Love Collective Church in Loveland, Colorado. I do all this social media. We're just a startup church, so we're many hats right now. But we have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and we use the Google page. I update everything constantly, like
Yeah.
everything that goes on Facebook, Google, TikTok, Instagram is all the same. I try
Yeah.
to keep everything
Oh, okay.
looking the same so that if somebody recognizes the platforms that
Yeah.
we, how we do them. And we started live streaming not too long ago,
Yeah.
and we're getting some views out. We
Good.
don't know who's watching, but people are watching, so that's good.
There's a lot. I'm sure there is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I'm gonna go check to see how many views we have. Sometimes there's like 12 one Sunday. I'm like, whoa, that's more than last Sunday. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's good.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really
That's
it's
awesome.
encouraging for us.
Yeah. Way cool. So the whole purpose is the title that you see for us is what we're going to speak to today is discover, connect, and belong. How people discover you, utilizing the tools that they use today in our culture. How that then turns into connection, and then how that would ultimately turn them to belong in your church. So really I want to give kind of an overview of just those specific things, and then we'll talk about social media towards the end. But a little bit about me. My name's David. I'm a pastor of New Hope Calvary Chapel in Lehi, Utah. And we started 6 years ago. I was saying this a little earlier, we got through the pandemic, all those things. It's been a blast. Our context is really interesting. as we tailor and are around Mormons, the LDS culture. My city where we planted is 97% Mormon, so it's a very, very tough ground, and it's an interesting thing. But this is my family, my wife Katie. We have 5 kids. There's something in the water in Utah, and that's why we have 5 kids. So it's been a little bit of a crazy time. But what I do is I'm actually bivocational, so I own a media company. We do photography and content creation for brands and different products and different things, and so also we do marketing. And so this is my world, this is my space, this is what I do for a living. Ultimately, I'm not trying to be bivocational for the rest of my life, but just our context, I still have to have a job to support my family. And so, but it's been quite amazing just to be able to do what we do. So I have a lot of years in this industry, and it often is kind of a moving target, but I want to give you guys kind of a thing that I believe will help every single one of your churches and really try to help you drive how people will discover, how people will really connect with you and belong, in your churches. So I want to ask you a first question. If you were looking for a new church to attend, where would you go first?
I'd Google it.
Google. Yeah.
And all agreements, right? And here's why. Google is not just a website. Google is actually the most powerful tool in the world. And it is imperative for us as the church, and this is what sometimes it hurts the church, right? Because I think so often technology is moving at a fast rate. And someone kind of the old guard, right, goes, I don't really like technology, I don't want to do these things. But it's so imperative. Why? Because culture's shifting, and who we're trying to target and who we're trying to reach, they're utilizing those new tools that are out there. So it's so imperative for us as a church to use the most powerful tool in the world to spread the message of hope. Anyone would disagree with that? All right, awesome. How many of us have used Google yesterday or today? When you looked for a place for lunch yesterday, where'd you go? 100%, right? It's the number one. So we can all be in agreement that this is it. Well, let me give you some stats really quick on how powerful Google is and what's happening currently. Every day, 5.9 million searches every minute.
Wow.
So unbelievable, right? You're talking about 5.9 million every minute. So literally by the end of this, there would be probably millions and millions and millions and millions upon millions, almost 100 million searches by the time we're done with this time in the room. And that equates to what you'll see next on the screen is 8.5 billion searches per day. Billion. We're talking a billion searches, 8 billion searches per day. How many people are on the planet? Do we know? 8? Yeah. Close to 9 billion,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like every day someone's using this, right? Every single day someone's using Google, and that equates to 3.1 trillion searches per year. I don't think we have to talk more about how it's important. What we should be doing is we should be using the most powerful tool in the world to spread the message of hope. But the question is how? How do we do this? What does that actually look like? The one thing I'm going to speak to today is using Google Ads. And Google Ads is probably, honestly, the most powerful tool we can use currently when it comes to our churches, when it comes to people trying to find us, right, discovering who we are. And it really isn't that too complicated. But it's just kind of the setup and the process. But I want to answer this question. What is Google Ads? Well, it's a sponsored ad that comes up when someone is searching for a product, place, or service. So when you type in, a restaurant near you, or, the best food, or best Filipino food, whatever it is, right? Generally speaking, the top ones that will come up are paid ads. They're paid ads that people are sponsoring through Google Ads. They're paying for that product to show up first, or paying for their restaurant to show up first, or paying whatever it is. For you guys, like you mentioned, you're saying, for us, we're actually number 1. And that's amazing, probably because in your location, there's probably not too many Filipino churches, right? So you kind of have an edge on it, which is absolutely incredible for you, right? So you don't necessarily have to pay for ads, though you can get a larger reach if you did. And so it's very important for us to understand, again, what this is. So it is something we pay for, but we'll talk a little bit about budgets in just a little bit. So Google Ads uses keyword and location-based searches to help people find what they are looking for. This is exactly what the ad space is. When you search a specific keyword on Google, Google understands that keyword and then searches, their algorithm and says, okay, who's paying for this keyword, or who is optimizing this keyword for, using SEO, like one of you mentioned, or based on location, where are you? And then what's the closest thing to you that you're looking for? Probably the number one thing we use this for is food. I'd probably say, right? All of us in a room. If we're like best, Filipino food near me, or, best burger in downtown Denver. Is everyone from Denver, by the way? Everyone in the room?
I'm from
Yeah.
here. but-
Okay, you're from here. Because Denver, I know a place, is it 5180 Burgers or 5280 Burgers? Anyone know that downtown? No? Yeah? Yeah? Amazing. It's by the bowling alley that's down there? Downtown Denver? No? Okay. It's an amazing place. You know how I found that? Google. And of course, you look at, what's the next thing you look at when you find a restaurant?
Stars.
Yeah, reviews.
Stars, reviews, absolutely. Which is your Google My Business, right? So when you look up your Google My Business, what's attached to that are those stars or the reviews that you have. Well, people pay attention to those things. People are often looking at what are the reviews and pictures. I want to see what this actually looks like and what I'm actually walking into. So that's a big, first impression. Okay, so that's kind of the major thing, right? We're looking at keyword, location-based searches to help people find what they're looking for. Maybe the next question you might have for me is, but what about my church and my location, right? Where I'm at and my church specifically. Well, I want to take a look at our church in Lehigh and give you guys some of our Google ads and what we're looking at here. And ultimately, too, I'd love to do this. Maybe we could do this if you guys come back for lunch or whatever. I'd love to actually dive into your guys' locations and see, what are people searching for and what are we actually seeing in your guys' area. So this is us. So this is January. So in January, our church spent $395 on Google Ads. So you can set any budget. We'll talk about this in a little bit. And here's what we got out of it.
You said that was for a year?
No, that's just in January.
And just in January, okay,
Yeah.
I just wanna make sure.
Yeah, so if you top there,
Okay.
January 2024,
Okay.
Google search ads.
Okay,
So
yeah.
in January of this year, just a couple months ago, this is what New Hope, our church in Lehigh, spent. We spent $395 on Google ads. So we set a budget, we'll spend $400 for the month, and here's what happened. The yellow is the average cost per click. So CPC would be how much every single time someone clicked on that ad, how much it costed us as a church. It was 94 cents. That's actually incredible, by the way. When you can get it below $1, that is unbelievable. It's a good thing. How many people? Well, there was 421 people that saw our ad and clicked on it. So they actually clicked on what they were looking for. Then to the left of that, impressions is 7,000 people saw the ad. So that's eyes. Impressions would be that many eyes saw the ad, but only 421 of those people actually clicked on it. What's interesting is this, and here's what's amazing about this. The ad that was set, we had 14 people that actually filled out a new here form. So 14 people actually showed up to our church based on these ads and filled out the form that we asked them to fill out when they walked through the door.
So those 14 people said, we found you from
On
the
Google,
ad?
yes. Yep, specifically. Then that turned into 6 for sure families that are consistent from the initial visit. So here's what we see, right? We see a lot of impressions. You're like, 7,000, that's amazing. Yes, but we all know that's not, 7,000 people aren't going to walk through our door. 420, that'd be amazing if 400 people showed up. It's just not the reality. But here's the reality. For us, 3% of those people actually walked through our door. Then 1%, 1.5 roughly, rounding up, actually have stayed. And when I say 6, that's 6 families. That's not 6 people. Right? Can you see the growth here? Just in spending a little bit of money to help people discover. So here's how I want to break it down for you is 421 people discovered who we are as a church. Right? They know who we are. They've seen New Hope. They've clicked. And what they clicked on led them somewhere, right? So they know who we are. They've discovered who we are. 14 of them connected with us in person. And 6 people now belong to New Hope. What a blessing, right? What a blessing. And we're utilizing these tools that I believe the Lord has given us through smart people, because I couldn't come up with this stuff. But smart people created this, and now we get to utilize these tools. So how did they discover us specifically? So I'm going to give you kind of our top keywords. Because remember, when we're searching on Google, we're using specific keywords, right? Best burger near me, best restaurant near me, best Filipino, food near me. We're using these types of words. So here's our top 5 in January that you see on the left. Number 1 was actually churches near me. They got the most clicks out of the keywords we have in our database. So that means someone searched churches near me. And the reason why we populate it is because that person is in our location, right? They're in Lehigh or maybe the city next to us. right? You can kind of set the boundaries of where you want that ad to be. And so that person typed in churches near me, and of course our ad populated. So then 81 of those people clicked on the ad. So again, keywords are key, this is pun intended, to your environment and context, but some are the same no matter where you live, right? So everyone who's searching for, I'll tell you this, I believe everyone that's searching for a new church generally starts with churches near me.
Yeah.
That's where they're going to search. Or non-denominational church, whatever the case may be. For us, again, nearest church, churches near me, church around me, Christian churches in Utah. So that's a very specific to our context. Most people probably wouldn't use that in anywhere else, right? They'll just say church near me and, here's, 10 Baptists and 10 Pentecostals, right? It's just, but for our context, they're being very, very specific. I need a Christian-based church near me. And then at the bottom, Calvary Church. I mentioned we're Calvary Chapel. So that is something to our context. And so you can see we are paying specifically for these types of words, keywords, for people to populate and discover who we are. Here's what I want to do. I want to do a quick activity. Write down some keywords or ideas of what you think people will search in your area when it comes to the local church. But remember, some will be the same no matter what. The big ones, right? Church near me. But maybe there's some specifics that you guys have in your location that you are like, man, I wonder what people are looking for in our area. Maybe this is just more of a dialogue too, of like, what do you think? But maybe write some just ideas, and you can take that nearest church, churches near me, church around me, Christian church, whatever it is. But write down some keywords. It could be 2, it could be 3. I just want to do this together. Maybe if you don't mind sharing some. I know again, broad statements are easy. But maybe there's some specifics, based on your location. Or you guys, for instance, what would be contextual for you guys is Filipino church near me, right? Or words that maybe your culture would use to find a church or a place to belong, right, in your community. Like where you're at. He's in St. George, Utah, so very, very similar to us. Not as high as, percentages of Mormonism, but still high. Yeah. Considering the rest of the country. You're about 60%, 65% in St. George. So Christian churches in Utah will probably be a search engine that someone would use in that area.
And then LDS comes up as well. So
There you go. They'll know the difference when they click though, because there's only one website for them.
Yeah, true.
Right? Take a moment, write some thoughts down if you can. I think it's very crucial to think through this. Because the next thing you want to go through is, can we actually see what people are searching? And what they're searching in our locations? Because this will be very helpful. It's a very powerful tool to know what people are actually looking for in our areas. Because then you can know, what am I paying for and what should I be paying for as well? To be the most strategic that we can. Because really any budget fits for this, so. We good? Anyone want to share?
We do, sorry,
No,
I think Cheyenne, it's a different, we're so close to Fort Collins and Denver that I know when I search stuff, I'll always put Cheyenne afterwards because I tend to pick up things in Fort Collins. It's like, I don't want to drive over to Fort Collins, so whatever, so I do that a lot. I don't know if other people do that a lot, but.
You're probably right though.
Yeah.
Right? And so what I would recommend then for you is to make sure that Cheyenne is part of those keywords in your database. And it doesn't have to be specific either. I want us to understand this too when you do. And what I'll do towards the end too is I'll give you guys my email and I'll send you a video of how you actually set up your Google Ads. We don't have a lot of time to do all that. But I'll send you all the tools you need to actually get this set up and ready. And then one of those things would be keywords. Like what words I'm inputting for Google to take that we're paying for and find people that are searching for that keyword. So Cheyenne would be very particular, right? But I want to be clear on this too. It doesn't have to be the exact phrase, it can be, but really it's just words, right? So it could be, you could just place these words in there like Cheyenne, church, near me, locate, those types of things. And Google will know, okay, well, if they put Cheyenne church near the Chili's, you'll come up because you're using keywords that are Cheyenne church near me, right? Or near this area. So just so you know, like it can be broad as well as very, very close. You can actually pay for an exact match of words. Years ago, I learned this and I loved it. There's a church called Life Church by Craig Rochelle. Anyone know Life Church? One of the largest churches in America. And for me, I love them because they always seem like they're the first step ahead in technology, and they're always doing something. And what's amazing about the church is they give away everything they do for free. I don't know if you've ever known this, but every single thing they do as a church, there's a website called open.life.church, and they give you all their resources. Literally everything they create, they give it to you for free. It's insane. I'm like, we need more churches like this, right? They coined the Bible app, right? They're the ones that created the Bible app, and they give it for free. I mean, we wouldn't have this church is who created the Bible app. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And not only that, they're trying to get it in every translation language as possible. The reason why I bring them up, years ago, before this was really even a thing, they were the first church that I ever knew of that was doing Google-based type of searches and keywords, SEO. And I'm not going to go crazy into this, but what they realized in their area is a lot of people were looking at things they shouldn't look at online. And there's a lot of men that were doing this. So they actually utilized that tool to put specific keywords using these tools. So what people thought they were searching for and clicking on ended up taking them to a church website. It was genius. And what they found from this is people were actually filling out what the form they wanted them to fill out, and many actually came to faith in Jesus when they were looking for something completely opposite that would take them down a dark and terrible road, and instead finding hope in Jesus. I mean, they were the first people I ever heard that did something like that. Before this was ever really a big thing, Google Ads, those types of things. Why? Because they are creative. They go, where are people going to? They said this question. I heard a whole podcast about the guy that did it. They asked, where are people going to find a church? And then they realized, man, Google is becoming a big deal. I mean, this is a while back now. And they realized, we should use this tool. And so again, it's the same thing. Like you said, you had a TikTok. I love that, by the way. Most churches will never do that, really.
We get most activity on TikTok. It's
You
like
do.
overwhelming on my phone. Sometimes I'm like, I gotta turn off this notification. This is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
because the young generation that we have today are utilizing that tool, right? And the hard thing is, it's not like we're endorsing that people should use this all day. That's not the point. But they're already using it. Why not jump into the space to
That's
share the
my thought.
message of hope
Absolutely.
and give Jesus to
And
the
it's,
platform?
yeah, it's like a lot of younger generation
Yeah.
that we're getting activity on our page.
Yep.
Which
So we'll
is
talk a little
our
bit more
reach.
about social in just a second, but I want to answer this question. Can I see what people are searching? And the answer is yes, and even know how many are searching. And here's what's so cool and powerful about this tool. So this is us, right? So in January, I put together a list from our January ad, and you can see exactly what's taking place. So our keywords, Christian churches in Utah, and then we have the ones underneath us. But if you look at the top one there, Christian churches in Utah, the average monthly search in our area is 30 people on average are searching that specific phrase and keyword. I love that we can see this, by the way. It's kind of scary, right? They know every single thing that we're doing. But we can use this to our tool, a tool for us, an advantage as trying to grow our church and spread the message of hope. Below that, though, churches near me, 880 average monthly searches in Lehi, Utah. That blows my mind considering where we're at. It blows my mind. And so what's interesting, again, that you kind of go below there and we realize one of our keywords and phrases is find a Christian church. Not many people are searching. So I go, I look at that and I go, maybe I shouldn't spend, money on this phrase and these things. And then you have nearest church, and then where we're at, non-denominational church, Utah, 10 average people. What we also know is most of these people probably have a family, considering where we're at. And you guys would know this statistically on where you're at, specifically as a church and location. For us, the median age in Lehi is actually 25, so it's very young. But the average family size is already 4 at that age. So they already have 2 kids at the age of 25. That's what we know in our area. And so what I see in this is, 880 people. That's a lot of families that are searching for a church home. But I believe it's very, very powerful. I chose this because they were supposed to be here, but Neighborhood Church is actually in Utah. They're not in the room, and I'm going to be very mad because I used this specifically for them. But I'll tell them after. But I actually looked in their area, where they're at, in their location. And I pulled up all this data. So in their location, 210 people on average are searching Christian church near me. 480 church near me. And here's the thing about this, even in our context, most LDS people or more, they're not searching church near me because they know the local ward based on where they live.
They're assigned.
So they're assigned to it. So I know this isn't people like, or it is, they're just searching for a new church, right? They're trying to find something new. So 480 church near me, and then a 70 non-denominational church. And here's what I broke down. 760, if you add all these up, average monthly searches in just 3 categories of keywords. And this is just, 3. It could be endless, right, of what we're doing. And I broke it down like this. If 400 clicked and 3% came, what would that be? 14 new families in a month. I was going to use Nate as an example. He's at a church local to us as well. He came end of last year to me, and we were talking about Google, and he said, man, I just don't know what to do. I got their church all set up. They're actually only like 15 minutes from where I'm at. So we set up a location-based Google search ads, those types of things. And we started running it right that day. And I said, all right, man, let's see what happens. Let's see what the Lord wants to do with this. That Sunday, after church, he texted me, he said, David, 3 families walked through our door from that ad that we ran this week. All said they saw us on Google, and they searched for churches near me. I said, it is such a powerful tool to get people through the door. And that's mind-blowing. I mean, right away. I'm not sure if this, Living Hope Bible Church? No? Okay, they signed up. They're not in the room. I'm going to be very mad too. I'm just kidding. But I broke this down. They're in Colorado, and I can't remember, I think Aurora maybe, but they're in Colorado. So I looked at their locations as well. This is fascinating, by the way. Churches near me, so where they're at, again, I just looked in their city, just their location. 1,600 people on average are searching church near me. Isn't this fascinating? Does anyone this is mind-blowing. That many people are searching for a new church home? Yes. So many people are trying to find hope. And we could actually see the data here right in front of us. So 1,840 average monthly searches for these top 3 things. And I broke down again. If 700 of them clicked and 3% came, 21 new families they can get every single month. Wow. Isn't that amazing?
Crazy, isn't it?
Walking through their doors.
And that's just on Google Ads.
That's just Google
Yeah,
Ads.
that's not all other,
No, it's not any other way of someone inviting someone
Right, exactly.
or those type of things. Now, this is how they discover you, right? This is how you get discovered, is utilizing these tools and being able to place ads on Google. And again, it isn't difficult to do, just so many churches don't do it. And it's like we all know, and like we said, there's 5.8 billion searches every single minute. Everyone's utilizing this tool every single day of their life. And clearly, every single minute, almost, they're looking for something on Google. So it's very, very powerful. Is this helpful, by the way, so far? Okay, anyone have questions?
How do you find what people are searching near you? Did you have
Yeah.
to pay for that? Or is that already worked into your ad, or can you just search it right now?
Yeah, so once you have your Google Ads account set up, so
Okay.
many of you that have Google My Business, it's really easy to set up from this point. If you look at the tools in the back end of Google, with Google My Business, there's actually a little ad button that's a part of that. When you click that, then you can create an account for Google Ads. Within Google Ads, what's unique and really cool is there's called a keyword planner. And so what Google does is you can list all the keywords that you want, church near me or Cheyenne Hills or whatever it is, and place it in this planner. And Google will actually tell you trajectory of how many people they think will actually click based on these keywords. So they'll give you projections and those things. And then in there's this tool that I'm showing you right here that is actually a database of the information they know.
Okay.
And you can put in these keywords and add them, and then they'll give you this breakdown of, oh, here's how many average monthly searches we're seeing based on these keywords.
Okay.
So you can do this before you ever spend $1.
Right.
And I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Because then and again, I don't know who's over all the budgets, but most of the time you have to get these approved, right? For me, I just approve. But you have to get it approved, right? So as you, office admin, you got to go and, hey, here's how much we're going to spend, and it has to get approved, and you have to have a budget. But you can tell them, based on this data, and again, at the end, I'm going to give my email so I can send you guys some tools to help you with this, because it can be a little overwhelming, right? But based on this data, we might see, break it down. We might see 20 new families coming if we just did these simple ads. I mean, can you imagine if that's happening every single month? You know, again, in our context is very different. Where it's I know Colorado's difficult too. I don't think it's a huge Christian, state, right?
Our area?
Yeah,
93% of the people in my area
are
are unchurched.
unchurched. Yeah, so that would be like an unchurched population, right?
And it's hard to reach. It's very hard
It's
to
very
reach.
hard to reach. But again, clearly, this is Aurora. I don't know exactly where you are, and we could do
Well, I
this.
live in Fort Collins, but
Okay.
I tend to General Loveland. Like,
Yeah.
it's all connected.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing I would do too is look at your area. So it might just not be Cheyenne, but you can go outer, right, and see what's happening around you.
County.
Yeah, the county, and see, is it worth, spreading out a little bit to get people that are 20 minutes away, right, or even 25 minutes, whatever you want to do, whatever feels right for the church. But very, very powerful. So any questions so far, or thoughts, or anything?
I'm so interested to go look now.
Yeah,
Right.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, because then you could base it on exactly what
Yeah.
you're paying for,
Yeah.
and you can understand what people are actually trying to look for, because you'd be
Yeah.
surprised. This is based on what I put it, right? I mean, and big, broad stuff, right? This is just broad language, it's Christian church near me, those things, but that's what people
Sure,
generally
yeah.
search if they're searching for a church. No questions?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Cool.
You first.
I was just gonna say, a lot of times when people put in Christian churches in Utah, it's because they're trying to move to Utah, and so they wanna see, what are my options when I move to Utah?
Sure.
And I know for David, for his church, a lot of people, they will get on the website, they will listen to this guy preach for 3 months, because it's about a safety issue with the LDS culture, and then they've come to him and said, we've been actually watching you for 3 months and
Yeah.
listening, and now we're here today.
Yeah.
But it started with these Google ads and everything else.
Yeah, and the thing that you brought up too, where are all these people and who are they? I want to say this, most of the time when people are watching online or they see a ticket or whatever those things, they are generally in your area. Some aren't, right? For sure. But a lot of times, nowadays, people first watch before they ever come to us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And this is what's very valuable and important, because what happens, this is the next question I want to answer, well, what happens when they click? You're sending them to their first impression of your church, right? So generally what you're going to do with the ad is when they click on something, where are you sending them? To your website, right? To find out more about who you are. Well, that is their first impression of you. And this is valuable, because how good is your website, right?
not good.
I know your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, and I'll talk later. I don't have.
Subsplash is a good thing to use for.
Yeah, we have
website.
Subsplash as an app.
Yeah,
too.
we do too.
Yeah.
It's built our website very nicely.
And you know what's funny and interesting about culture today is the general, I believe the last stat that just came out is people attend church 1.7 times a month right now. So you're only seeing them once a month currently.
Yeah, makes sense.
1.5. And it's a
Yeah.
weird number, but that's the average, right? It's not like you're seeing a half a person. But it's like, they regularly only attend, basically they're only attending once a month. And so what's interesting about that is we have Subsplash as well. We love it. It's one of the best tools we
It's
ever did
very useful.
for communication within our local church. But we only have about, what we would think is about 250, 300 people that would call New Hope home, which is fascinating where we live. Great site church, we love what God is doing. But on a Sunday, you're not seeing all 300 people, right? It's just the reality. And so that averages out, but we have 718 downloads on our app for our
Yeah.
church. I go, where are all 718?
Yeah.
Like, where are you? Like, if you keep downloading it, where are you? But it's because the average is 1. But what we also know is kind of the general public of just people, they actually don't come, they come every 6 to 8 weeks. So a person that would attend regularly would say they come once a month. That's sad right now, right? And that's not why I'm here, but I'm just saying, there are so many people really searching and trying to find a local church, and how do we get them to belong? So what happens when they click? Well, again, we just answered it. They go to the website, and your website must showcase who you are. It's who you are as a church, not just static images of people that aren't of your church, right? We got to get very specific. You might say, "Oh, we don't have really good pictures." Put pictures of your actual people. I'm telling you, it'd make a difference. Because make sure that people see who you really are. They want to see who are you. Most people in our day and age will look at a website or social media page before they're ever going to enter the building. So this is powerful tools.
Yeah.
And you can literally allow someone to see who you are, and that will help them make a decision on if they're going to show up. And what I loved is going back to the stats that we talked about earlier. 421 people clicked on our ad, which led them to our website. 14 of those people then walked through the door and told us that they found our ad. And then, like I said, 6 of those families stayed and are actually connected to New Hope. They belong there. And I would say they're regular attenders now. And so, again, we see that this works, but the website is a big deal. So you said, ugh, I don't know, right? Ours, then it's something you need to have a discussion about,
For sure.
right? Like
We're moving that way.
yeah, you gotta be able to make those moves and be able to realize, all right, this might take some time and we might have to update some things. But I'm telling you, it's so worth it, and you need to get it done. Here's the next thing that I want to be very specific about. Make sure it's mobile friendly. I can tell you right now, most church websites are not mobile friendly. And here's a stat that will hopefully blow your mind. I know you're taking a picture, so I'll give it a second.
Right.
Is 63% of searches occur on a mobile device.
Wow. That's crazy.
And you know this because you're the one doing it. Right? Like you are the one doing this every single day. You don't go, oh, I gotta go to my desktop computer.
Mhm.
Or I have to go to my laptop and pull it out to search. No, you pull out your device, it's in your pocket, and you search for something. I actually was shocked this number wasn't higher. This was the last stat as of early 2024. And so, because there's still a lot of people that have a desktop and utilize those things. And so I want us to understand, again, mobile friendly is huge. We have to have mobile friendly websites. It's just the new day and age that we see today. Most websites we see are on mobile now. They're not going to be on desktop. It's going to be very rare that someone goes to your website on a computer, right? And again, if that's the case, we can see the reality in this, that 5.9 million searches every single day on Google. People are utilizing their phones to do the searching. And so, 3 takeaways I want to chat really quick before we jump into social media and that stuff, is this. Number 1, for Google Ads, it's a one-time setup. And here's what's cool about it. Once you have it set up, you don't have to set it up again. It's done. And that helps, right? Once your account is set up, you're ready to roll. You don't need to adjust anything. The only things you're going to adjust is keywords. You might add some, you might take away some. You might realize that Cheyenne Hills, for some reason, is populated with a hotel or something, and you're like, what's going on, right? That might happen. There are things that take place like that. But you're really just adding or taking away keywords. That's it. But once it's set up, you're good. 2, takeaway. Any budget works. Any budget. You can spend $50 a month. You can spend $100 a month. You can spend $10,000 a month. It doesn't really matter. You know what's unique, and we haven't even done this, which I'm blown away why, but right now, and if you give me your email, I can send you the links to it as well. Google gives away $10,000 a month for nonprofits to use for free on Google Ads. So there's a couple of not loopholes, but things you have to jump through to get the money, but it's well worth going after. Can you imagine getting $10,000 of free advertising spend per month?
Wow.
It can change everything. So again, I can send you a link on that. So any budget works. And what you see at the bottom there, something is better than nothing. Just put something towards it and start. Even if it's $50, just do it, I'm telling you. Because you'll start seeing really quickly, this is actually moving the needle. People are actually finding who our church is. They're discovering who we are. They're coming in, they're connecting with us. And you never know. Again, we do this for the one, right? We do this for the one person.
Amen.
We do it for one. It isn't, again, 60 family, I love it, it's amazing. But I'd be blessed if one family came to know Jesus. I'd be blessed if one family came in and found hope. Like, that would be worth $400 to me, right? I think it'd be worth $10,000. It would be worth millions to me for one person to know Jesus. So any budget works. It does not matter. It can help. And then if you need help, ask. We can help. Don't let the unknown stop you from people knowing and discovering who you are as a church and what you do. So, any questions so far?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does it matter when you say $50, $400, $4,000? Doesn't matter. But what incrementally does that get you?
Yeah. So it would be a lot less than what you see
Okay.
on the screen of 400, right? And it's based too on. There's a lot we can deep dive, but I want to get more of a granular, just an overview of all this. But so $50, depending on your area and who's spending. What's unique about you, and I know him personally, so what's unique about their situation in St. George's in about a 25-minute stretch, there's no churches.
Yeah.
Right. So he's unique. So here's what I'm saying: $50, no one's competing against you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So for like you guys that are in those areas, you're gonna have competition on Google Ads, right? Other churches doing this or those types of things. And again, we're not in competition, right? We're not trying to say but that's just the reality of ad spend is someone else is doing the same thing. It's like restaurants. They're all spending dollars on Google and they're all competing to get that person through the door. But here's the reality of the kingdom, and what I love about this is it doesn't matter if you're doing it in the church 10 minutes away from you doing it. Because people will land, they'll see what you're about, and they'll make a decision. Hey, I'm going to go check out this church. And then they might come back and find your church. Hey, I'm going to go check out. And then the Lord knows where they belong. So they're going to walk into the church that they belong to, right? And so we're not in competition. This is why I was telling you about Neighborhood Church and Nate, that I told you the story about. We ran his Google Ads and 3 people walked in that Sunday from the ads. He's literally 10 minutes from where I am. And so I have no, in my blood, there's no competition here. Like, I'm utilizing the same keywords for people to find our church for his church. Like, it's no different. But I also know Nate's a different vibe than us. He's got different people there, and they love different than, it's like, it's okay. So they'll find them, that's great. And they might come to New Hope the next week, and they might go, we like the front. We'll go back to the front. Amen, that's cool. Like, find your home. But these are the tools we can help people find their home, and hopefully it is where our churches are, and we can love on them and be there for them. But any other question? No?
No, I was just gonna share earlier because when you told me to type I typed Filipino church. It's so amazing because I'm from Denver. 3 churches showed up in Cheyenne.
Wow.
But then if you scroll a little bit, because it says view all,
Yeah.
and then it says our place. And
That's so cool.
To think that we're just a small church,
Yeah.
and we are renting a church.
Yeah.
How would it show up? So it's a real blessing.
Yeah, and that has to do with what's called SEO. So how long have you guys been around as a church? Like, when did
It
you start?
started 1993, but
Oh, wow.
the Filipino church, we were adopted. Our mother church is Converge Rock Mountain.
Awesome.
Rock Mountain.
Yeah.
With Pastor Paul Minton.
Yeah.
And now we're grown-ups now, kind of like that.
Yeah.
So we're separate, so
Yeah, I
we're in
love
this faith. So I want to ask if that $50 thing, is it being taxed or what? Or
Is it being what?
taxed?
Taxed?
Yeah.
No, if
Because
you're not.
we're the state. No.
Yeah, if you're a nonprofit, anything you run through that,
non-profit,
it's just.
you're right.
Yeah. So however you do that, but generally no.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully that answers that question. But go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead, you go ahead.
So we have our Google site
Yeah.
for our
Business
church.
page.
Hmm?
Your Google business page.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but our former pastor created it, and then
Oh,
his
yes.
phone number is still there,
Mm.
and I've been trying to change that and I can't.
Yeah.
So
Do you have the login for it?
no, he didn't remember the password. So
Yeah. Do you
and
remember
I
the
put
email?
my phone number,
Yeah.
and then he said it was gonna change eventually, and I'm looking at it and it's still his number.
Yeah.
So like, do I need to create a different account?
You can, or if you go on Google My Business, there's usually a help link somewhere, and you can send an email to the team and tell them this story, basically what you're telling me.
Okay.
And there should be a way for them to send a new email, put in a new email and a login for that business, My Google.
Okay.
What they'll end up doing though is they'll send you a card
Mhm.
in the mail, actually. And on that card they send you will be a code. And the reason why they do this is they want to know that it's your place.
It's actually you.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they'll do that if you're working on anything on the back end of the Google My Business to make sure you're legit. Because anyone can go on there and say,
Yeah.
well, that's my business, or
Right.
that's my page. But then how they make that legit is they'll send you an actual card to that address,
Okay.
and you'll receive the card that's on the address for the church,
Mhm.
and they'll give you a specific PIN code. Then they'll need to know that PIN code, then they'll go, okay, you're legit, now we can change what we need to.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how they verify a location. So we had the same issue. We took over the Lehigh Police Department where we're at. It was the old PD. What's unique about our church too is in our sanctuary now, it used to be where the jail cells were. And so, and it's funny, 4 people have come to our church that said, I've been here before. And,
Jesus set
now,
them free, bro.
yeah, and actually now they've all found hope in Jesus.
Yeah.
So it's really cool, our context there. But we have every single day I'm not joking. We have someone come into our door thinking it's the jail because of the Google issue, because their address still shows up. And it's not on our end, it's the police department's end. They haven't changed it on their end to point to the new location. And so I'm telling them, guys, I do this for a living. Can we fix this? Like, and I know Lehigh PD. We're good friends with them. So it's like, guys, let me help you change this. Like, whoa, it's the lieutenant. I'm like, just get him on the phone. Like, let's fix this. But every day it's funny because when people come and they knock and they're like, oh, I'm confused. Like, well, they're like, it's a church. They're like, I'm looking for the jail. Oh, it allows for conversation too, right? It's like, well, hey, what's going on? How's life? You know, and then we invite them to church. But it's interesting. But if you do that, and maybe during lunch I can help you find where that help ticket is and try to at least get the ball rolling for you.
Thank you.
Or you can always email me and we can help that way. Cool.
Okay.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
Just one, what are your thoughts on kind of getting your ducks in order?
Yeah.
You know, you talked about people are gonna click on your website, and if your website doesn't look
Yeah.
great, it's kind of that first impression thing.
Yeah.
So, just like, what are your thoughts? Like, the Google thing, that sounds way easier than getting our website
Yeah.
in place and up
Yeah.
to date and where we would maybe want it.
Yeah.
So,
Let me ask you this. Do you have a landing page on your website that you would say, this is a good page? Like, this tells us about our story maybe, or this is like a good, if someone came for the first time.
Like
yeah,
your first impression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
then I would make that your link.
got
Does
it.
that make sense?
Mhm.
Rather than going, oh, it might take me 3 months to redo this or something, or I have to go through the proper channels, right,
Mhm.
to have a new website built or whatever the case may be. Because websites are expensive, we know that. I didn't put this in here, but this is a reason why they asked me to, is as Converge, now I'm actually partnering with Converge, so every new church that gets planted, our company's actually gonna build their website for them. And all we're charging Converge is a $99 flat rate fee monthly. So instead of having to chip, $10,000 or $5,000, like, they work with another company that builds sites that they charge them 20 grand. And I said, I would never do that. Like, I just don't feel right about, especially church plants. Like, I'm a church planter. Like, I understand the cost of these things. It's hard, and I'm not trying to say that in a negative way for anyone. Like, if people have the budget, amen, that's cool. But for us, and you can email me later about this too, if you want to, but yeah, that's all we charge, just a $99 flat rate fee. So there's no giant upfront cost of those types of things. And it's mobile friendly, and it's every single thing that we're talking about. So I just throw that out there. Again, I'm not trying to make some big sales pitch, but if you need help and you are looking for something that's like, gosh, we do need something, and you don't want to be charged a ton, you can reach out to me. We'd love to help you. I'd even love to help you set up your Google Ads if that's something that you need as well. But to finish and answer really quick,
Yeah.
if there's a page that you feel confident in, use that as the link that they go to help you. So that way you can at least get the ball rolling, and then maybe we can have a conversation of like, wow, I'd love to pitch them on something new, right? Or redesigning the website or redoing it. But $99 a month is what we charge, and I feel like it's very fair and very cost effective for something that I believe is very crucial when it comes to an online presence. So go ahead.
30-second commercial for this guy real quick.
Oh,
Okay, so here's the
I did
deal.
not invite him for this.
I
by
know,
the
I know,
way.
you didn't even know. So we haven't even launched yet. We just started a small group, and we're gonna launch hopefully in October. But about David and his company and just David's heart for us and his love for us, we have a website up already. And he's running numbers, he'll tell me like monthly who's clicking on what or whatever. But the number one comment I hear is, who designed your website? I love it. From every single person that has talked to me personally, 100% of them have said, who does it? And so I tell them, David Elijah, DE Media, and a lot of them know who David is on our field. But, so just to let you know, I mean, this is not only what he does, but what he does, he's very talented at it.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Hey, good to have you. We just got done talking about Google. No, man, it's good. I feel bad. It's good info for you. But any other questions so far?
I just want to testify how beneficial Google Ads and having websites is. I'm actually an agricultural exchange teacher from the Philippines.
Wow.
And I got here almost 2 years ago, and I came here alone.
Really?
I didn't have any relatives, I didn't have any family, I didn't know anyone. And I didn't even know the name of my landlord that is waiting for me here. And then I came here just by myself. I was sad, I was away from my family. And then my wife she tried searching
Yeah.
Filipino church
Wow.
in Colorado.
Yeah.
And then she found the Filipino church in Denver. It's the first thing that popped up.
Yeah.
And then she clicked it, she found the website, she went over it, she read the mission,
Yeah, I
vision,
mean-
goals and beliefs and the staff. And then, oh, this church has the same belief with our local church in the Philippines.
Mm.
And then she contacted the pastor, and then after maybe about a couple of days, the pastor of that church, he fetched me from the place that I'm where I live, and then he introduced me to the church.
Yeah.
And right now, it's almost 2 years. When I got here, it took almost a year before I got them, my wife and my little boy.
Yeah.
And then they became my family.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, amen.
my church right now, I treat them as my family away from home.
Yeah.
So I got a family just because of that.
Just because of Google.
Google,
Yeah, it's
right?
amazing. Yeah.
Right?
It's crazy that that
So
can happen.
I have a family now. I have friends
That's cool.
because of that Google app.
So I'm going to bring up this slide again because it's so valuable to what he's saying, right? You guys saw the ads that we ran, and I gave you some actual real life scenarios. But again, 421 people discovered who we are just from that ad. 14 of them connected with us in person. That means they walked through the door, and 6 of them now are New Hope is their home. And it's the same thing here, right? You literally just searched
Right.
Filipino church in Denver,
Right.
Colorado. And because of that, you clicked. So you discovered the church.
Right.
You clicked, you got connected, and now you belong.
And to add to that,
That's so powerful.
I'm proud to say that I'm being used in that church.
Yeah, amen.
And
Yeah, your next leader could be on Google right,
Right.
now searching.
yeah, really glad
It's,
that
yeah, really, it really is.
God uses these tools
Yes.
Absolutely.
to, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Any other thoughts? What time are we supposed to be done? Does anyone? We started late.
Lunch is noon? I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Transition to lunch is at 11:45.
All right. So we got 15. Okay. Next, we're gonna talk about Instagram specifically, but on social media, but how the same tools that we use for Instagram can be used now at every single platform that we have. So it can be used on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, all of them. And the reason is because now vertical format content is used on every platform. So what's unique about this is where before our team, like we love media, we've used this tool so much to drive who we are as a church and hit the demographics we're trying to hit. But at first you have to create so many different types of social media content where now you can literally make one and use it across the board. And what's interesting about now is so many pastors come to me and they go like, I just don't have someone that's good at this, or I don't have this, or I don't know how to make these things. I go, well, every week you guys are filming a live session of your church. Yes? Who does live every week? You have content. It's right there.
Right there.
It's right there, and you're literally publishing it every single week. Now the question is, what do we do with it, right? What can we do? And so the biggest thing I can answer with that is, you as a pastor or whoever's in charge of that, take a cut from your sermon. So for instance, Rich, right? You're like, man, I really loved this point this Sunday. Take that 10-minute point and cut it into a reel, or take that 1 minute, you were hammering on that one thing, and it was like, cut that into a 1 minute version of video and utilize that tool. You already did it. You don't have to, recreate something or film something or do those things. You have already right now so much content sitting that I believe so many people aren't even using. I mean, let's think about it. You have 52 weeks last year of content you can pull from right now, right? We should be able to do this. And so for us, we truly believe that, again, utilizing the tools of our generation to share the gospel through those tools. That's the whole point of it. We know that not every single person that watches it is ever going to walk through our doors, but you have no idea what you're talking about and what you're saying could impact that person. And so we shouldn't be shy to use the tools that we have today to go share the gospel. And I mentioned this a little earlier with like TikTok. Yeah, we know there's terrible things on TikTok, there's terrible things on Instagram, but let's flood it with things of Jesus as much as we can. So why social media? Here's why. Church is only about an hour a week. So the question is, there's 168 hours in a week, and we're only using one of those hours in church. And maybe you're like, Baptist, or maybe a couple hours, but generally about an hour to an hour 15, right? Not much more. What are we doing with the other 167? Because you have powerful tools right in your hand to continue sharing the gospel, and not only that, to tell people and show who you are as a church. So what are we doing with that other 167 on these platforms? It's very, very unique, and we need to be using it as much as we can. So 6 major things to consider, and 3 of these I'm going to highlight really quick, is this: what, when, why are so key. So the question is, we already know that we have content. So there's no question on where we get the content. You can start with what you have right now. So no one can say we don't have anything. You do, it's right there. You're recording this every single week. The next question that comes up is what? What do we then post? When do we post it? And why do we post it? What are we posting? We don't want to just to post, but we need to be intentional about what we post. What you see on the screen is our church. We're really big on stories. We love just getting someone in front, willing to share their story and filming it. Why? Because people connect to story. That's just everyone connects to story, and every single one of your people, because this is, again, well, I don't know, I don't really have every single one of those people that walk through the door have a story.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you right now, if we have X amount of days per year, 362, is that right? 365, sorry.
Yeah.
Let's say you have 100 people, you have 100 stories that you can share. 100 stories that are right in front of you. Maybe not everyone's willing, but the idea is there's so many stories right in front of you, and stories is what connects people. We recently, this story that you see on the left there, this is actually just posted yesterday, and I'm going to give you just viewer discretion advised on her story. This is the first time she was willing to share her story, and this is the first time she ever shared it publicly. But she shares in her story how she was molested by her dad for 10 years. And as I'm the one that was filming this, and I'm sitting on the other side of the camera, I'm just in tears as she is sharing this story, just heartbroken. I'll tell you guys, we struggled with, should we post this or not, right? It's just a hard one. It's like, and there's some things she even said that we didn't keep on film that were even harder to hear. But you know what? She was like, can you please? I want to just share my story and hope that it helps someone. And I can't tell you how many comments we've received on this, how many people have texted me from our church to say thank you for being bold to share a story like that. And the connection point between that. That now, though she felt hopeless as this young girl, she found hope in Jesus. And God redeeming that, she says that, He redeemed it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, my hope in our prayer was, even after we prayed, as she shared this and we filmed this and we prayed together, I said, Lord, I pray that someone that doesn't know you watches this. I pray that someone that doesn't know, that has gone through trauma and tragedy, sees this. And that's the open internet, right? They might not live in Lehi, they might not live in Utah, but my hope and prayer is that even through this story and this powerful tool of Instagram and social media, that someone watches her story and says, I've been there, and I hadn't ever realized that I can actually have hope. That's the story. And so we'll go, well, it's not in our, it doesn't matter. You get to use this tool to share a story, to impact someone, and you have no idea the impact you can make by simply sharing something like this. Or even sharing a story, or just a clip again of a sermon, right? We know you work hard. I'm going to pick on you for a second. You work hard every week to get the best content you possibly can for Sunday. Yes?
Yeah.
And you study hard, and you study long hours. And so many times it's like, well, share that with the world. Like, why are we not sharing that? Like, not just in your congregation, but utilize that tool that is online presence and social media to get that word out. Because so many people that aren't even in your seats need to hear the message that you have, brother. Like they do. And what a cool and unique opportunity we have now to be able to utilize those tools to share that. So, what are we posting? Be intentional about what you post. And I would say this, if you're not the one that's over social, what I'd recommend is you go back to your churches, as you go back to normal life, ask those people that are in charge of it, are we being intentional about what we post? Or is it just, here's what's happening this week at New Hope, here's what's happening at this week. There's other ways they can find that, right? Let's actually share about the life of our church and messages and stories and people. You mentioned this. You have people watching now because of TikTok and YouTube and all those things. And it's because someone is posting, right? They actually said, and you might think, maybe this isn't the greatest content, or we don't have a professional doing this,
Yeah.
but you're posting, right?
Yeah, everything I use is directly from our church. Like, I teach the kids, so I take pictures of, like, we had a little activity where they had to run and try to balance a crayon on a
Yeah.
pillow, which of course is impossible.
Yeah.
But, you know, I posted what we did in Kid Collective
Yeah.
that day, and it's amazing how many, like, views I got. I'm like, whoa, where are
Yeah.
these views coming
Yeah.
from? But they got to see, like, this is us.
Yeah, it's the life of our church.
This is our life of our church. You know, the kids were laughing, they were giggling,
Yeah.
they were just like, we can't do this, you know,
Yeah.
like, they saw their expressions, like, I'm hoping that maybe a family would be like, hey, my kid would enjoy this, like,
Yeah.
this, they have stuff geared towards
Yeah.
kids.
Yep.
And it's not something boring where they're just sitting down doing nothing, like, we are interactive every Sunday. So,
And it doesn't need to be
Yeah.
the best film
it's not,
ever, right? Like,
but
if
it
it's your phone.
captures
Here's
the kids' excitement, that's
Absolutely.
what I'm
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to do, yeah.
Definitely what
Yeah.
you see, like, you don't want someone that looks
Yeah.
like they don't want to be there if you want to post that, right? And again, it's not trying to be fake. The point is
Yeah.
like, but you really want to show the life of your church.
Yeah.
That just might be a bad moment to film at that moment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the kids are used to me filming all the time.
Yeah,
Taking
but
pictures now.
but it's crucial because people see that and go, wow, like that's their church. And maybe their experience was, maybe their last church was, they didn't really care about our kids, right?
Yeah.
They
Well,
see
yeah.
that and then they walk through the door. This is amazing, right?
Actually, one of
So-
my daughter's friends are coming, attending our church now in youth group because of that reason.
That's so
She
cool.
said she wasn't learning anything, she wasn't having fun, she's like,
Yeah.
you actually teach me about God and
Yeah,
you
that's
answer my
so cool.
questions. I'm like, well, yeah, isn't that what any youth leader kid
Should
is
do.
supposed to do?
Yeah, absolutely. But you posting that allows people now to see
Yeah.
what's actually
But
happening.
they're not the
in
best
life
videos,
of
but
the church. Yeah,
it's the life of our church, like
Yeah.
I'm trying to capture the
So
life
key.
of our church.
so key. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Give someone a phone. These are 4K now.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. They're 4K. They shoot amazing.
Yeah.
You could even add the little blurry list now, like right. It's getting better and better, and so there's no reason why we can't utilize the tools that we have in our pocket to share the life of the church. So it's very, very important, and it will drive people in. It will.
Yeah.
It absolutely will in your local area. So I'm gonna talk specifically about Reels, and the reason why is
So good.
right now on social media platforms, video is absolute king. Video crushes anything. You talk about impressions, views, video is everything. So they matter, but you might be thinking again, what kind? So I'm going to give you a couple examples that I think we should be utilizing. One is short form content. And what is short form? Short reels, they get 100% watch time cue, so the algorithm can show as many people as possible. What this means is, if you have a video that's 6 seconds long, generally that video will hit the six seconds and then replay. And when it replays, you actually want that, because then the algorithm catches, oh, these people are watching over and over and over. It's a little trick, right? But then because of that, now they start to go, oh, people like this content, and so now I'm going to show it to every one of your followers that are actually following your Instagram or social media channels. And so then it ups viewership and gets what you need. But, so it's very, very important that we actually think about what we're actually posting. And we do this all the time. We literally take just free drone footage, literally free drone footage that you can find on the internet. And we throw a verse on there, or we throw a text on top
So
of
good.
it and post it. It's the simplest stuff you can create. Like, it's not hard to do. Do you have anyone that runs this for you? A little bit mission? Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the questions I'll have is how do you
Yeah.
start it?
Yeah, and it's so cool because like it's visually awesome to watch, right?
Echoes.
Yeah.
Tell them about that. Like, that's what.
Yeah, they're just taking, there's a church in Arizona that's getting planted in January, and they're taking a lot from this stuff, but they're just posting landscape of their area. They're in Arizona, and they're in a unique area in Arizona. And all they're doing is taking landscape photos and putting verses on top of it. It's doing so well, like in landscape videos. It's doing so well for people to learn about who they are as a church. So short form content doesn't have to be difficult, doesn't have to be hard. It's very, very easy to accomplish. Next is be creative. Your reels don't have to be of you or your church, but it also encouraged people. So yes, we did talk about this. Absolutely should have stuff of your church and who you are in the life, but also know that people that see your videos and find you on social aren't in your area as well. That's okay. We should be okay with that. And so encourage people. We did this post a while back. It was 5 reasons why you should trust God. And we simply just went through those 5 reasons, right, in this video. And it was just text that was changing. It wasn't crazy at all. This video ended up getting 24,000 views. 24,000. Do I have 24,000 people in our church? No. That would be wild. But 24,000 people saw this. And we had so many comments and so many people encouraged. Wow, this is amazing. We got extra followers. And now I just go, this is just a tool now that I get to use to encourage people. Encourage our church, but also encourage those that are outside of our church. And how cool that we get to play a part of that. I realized I swapped that picture out, but that wasn't the point. So copy, you might be thinking, what do we say? That's what copy is. Well, pay attention to what we're saying in the posts. The people that are going to see these posts usually are not necessarily followers. What I mean by that is not everyone that sees the video is going to actually follow you as a church or follow your social media pages. So copy matters, right? Because you could actually find someone that doesn't know Jesus that watches your video, and what you say matters, right? What you're saying in that stuff matters. So pay attention to what we're saying and how we are saying it. Next. Well, what happens when someone leaves a negative comment? Let me ask you guys, what do you think you should do?
Well, when we were doing one of our Easter events, we had people, not Easter, was Easter? We're doing a trunk or treat. We had some people call us, he does.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. What did you do?
I didn't respond to them and I just removed their comment.
All right. Anyone else?
We've had some negative comments on some Google reviews.
Sure.
And we just responded and said, acknowledge them.
Yeah.
And told them, hey, contact us.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Yeah. Good. What else? Anything? All right, here's my answer. Engage with a heart of humility.
Yeah.
So next time I would encourage you, engage with a heart of humility.
Yeah.
Don't remove it, don't get rid of it. People see that stuff and they go,
Yeah.
whoa, like why are they deleting it? Or someone saw it and it was then deleted. Like, how do you deal with that? I think we can always engage with a heart of humility no matter what is said. And I love your response of that. Just engage with them. Hey,
Yeah.
so sorry you had a rough experience, or reach out to us. We'd love to connect. When someone sees that, they're gonna go, wow, like that's actually a big deal.
Yeah.
It's like they care. They actually cared that you responded. We had a guy locally, and it's funny because I've noticed this happens a lot in our culture. I don't know if you see this, Rich, but we have a guy that doesn't even live in Utah. He lives in Texas. He's a young kid. He's actually a missionary for the LDS Church. He went and put a 0 stars or 1 star review on our church. And I was like, you don't even live here? You don't even from here? What are you doing? So of course, I just respond with a heart of humility. Hey Todd, like, notice you don't live here. Like, did we do something? Did we say something online that you didn't like? I just engage with a heart of humility. Let me know. I'd love to know if we did something or we can help in any way. Of course, never responded. Then I realized he does this to a lot of churches. And but hey, I'm gonna respond with a heart of humility and see maybe even from my comment if I can have a conversation with him that leads to maybe you shouldn't do this. If you've never been here, you don't know who we are. Like, yeah, we're different, obviously, but you don't know us. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, why do this? You never know what having that heart of humility and just going and having that conversation could lead to. We do a lot of ads, obviously. We're big on this in our area. And I remember we did one that led to Easter last year, and we got so many people on there. A lot of negative comments. God isn't real. All kinds of, and every comment we commented back to, every single one. And what's interesting is one guy commented on there, left a whole thing about just Jesus, all kinds of stuff. And I went on there, responded personally, and I actually ended up going to coffee with that guy.
Oh, wow.
And hey, he didn't come to know Jesus right in that moment, but it led to a really cool conversation just between him and I and his life, and learning how much hurt he has for the church. And all I can be in that moment is the best version of Jesus I can be towards him, right? And just share with him, man, I'm so sorry about what you went through. That's not everyone, right? And frankly, that's man. We screw it up. That's not Jesus, though, right? And so it led to a really cool thing, but that's what this could lead to. You never know by just responding and engaging. There are people that are just there to just destroy. We get that, right? We understand that. But you never know what can happen. So you think, okay, I got the reel, I got the copy, well, now what? Timing is actually key. And this is a question, Rich, you can ask your guys. When we post these things, when are we posting them, or why do we post them, right? Timing is key. In any of the social media apps, you know exactly the best times to post. It gives you all this information. It tells you all your statistics of gender, the age group that is most likely going to be seeing this, all of this information, and it is for you to get better at when you post these certain things and when you're engaging with your followers. I think I'm over time now, and I'm so sorry. So last couple things. Hashtags, they still matter, they're not 2019. People still use them, so I advise you to use them in a comment of your post or in the post itself. Use them, people find them, people are using them. Hashtag the Bible, hashtag Jesus, right? These hashtags, people are still using them to find content. Next is trending audio. This was a huge one back where this person's sliding down this thing, and the minute that they hit the bottom, it would change to another video or a video that you would create. So find trending audios that work. Obviously, not ones that are way worldly, we don't want to go there, but just trending audio that may be funny, because it really does help, and it could be utilized in a really, really cool way. And this, why post? To encourage people to follow Jesus. That's the whole reason why we're using these platforms to begin with. And again, they might not be local, but we should utilize the tools that are in our communities today and in our society today to point people to Jesus. That's the whole point of this. Create relatable content, then create repeatable content, and use the tools of our culture to speak the message of hope. That's all we're doing. And it's huge when we can get behind this and have a team. Not everyone has a team. We have a small church. We're a very small church. So we have one guy that helps us with social media, right? Like you're saying, you have one guy, right? When I go to big mega churches, like they have a whole team. I'm just like, this is crazy, right? And so I get it. We might not all have giant teams, but I'm just encouraging you to get started. Use it. Use as best as you can with the tools that you have, but don't be afraid of it. Step out in it, and I believe the Lord will use it in a crazy way. Last thing on social, there's two things that drive people to New Hope specifically. One is the Google ads that we talked about earlier. The second is our Instagram. Our Instagram has driven so many people to our church because they're using that as a tool to find local churches as well. And so we see quite a bit of people that walk in because of our Instagram and what we post and the stories that we're posting, because people connect. I didn't know that the Lord can do that, right? And so they walk through our doors. Any questions?
I do have, I use Canva a lot, that's a good
It's a great tool, it's free. Yeah,
Yeah, well, I upgraded to the Pro,
that's great.
but when I signed up, since we're nonprofit, we got this major deal for a set price, so it's worth it.
That's
For our-
awesome.
I use a lot of that for our advertising, so if you don't have Canva, check out Canva, it's very, very helpful,
Awesome.
creating those types of videos.
Canva will actually give you a free pro account.
And I tried going through that and
It was super easy for us. All we
Really?
have to do is
Pretty
submit our
good.
Nonprofit, like the tax ID.
nonprofit tax ID information.
that's fair because we didn't get approved, but we got that discount.
I'm gonna put my email up. Like I mentioned, you guys can take a photo, you can email me.
Bro, can you tell them about Minute Hope real quick? Because that's Reels and Insta and all that stuff, because that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, so we as a church, we coined this thing called a Minute of Hope, and because it's just our contest, we're called New Hope as a church, and so every week I film a Minute of Hope, and it's just a minute-long video.
It's
of
devotional.
hope. It's a devotional, and so we take one simple concept. I say, hey, this week we're talking about fear.
Can
This
you
week's
bring one
Minute
up?
of Hope. No, I haven't
Bro.
connected to the internet. But and so I say that because there's so many great ideas, I'm sure, that are, even young people, ask them, guys.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask the young people of your church, like, hey, what are some things that are going on online? You know what I mean, that are unique and people are paying attention to. Then create something that works for the church. Like, don't be afraid of doing that. It's not like, again, I'm not saying go be of the world. No, I'm saying utilize the tools that we have to share the gospel. And so there might be something unique that's happening in your area that you can come be a part of, but utilize it for Jesus. And so we do this Minute of Hope. We have gotten so many great feedback on it. We've done it for over 2 years now. We're going on. Where every week we try to post a Minute of Hope. And the reason why our congregation specifically loves it is because it's an easy thing to share.
Exactly.
And it speaks to real life.
Yeah.
Like we talk about fear, we talk about pride, we talk, whatever the case may be, and it's so easy to come up with ideas, around that type of thing. So it might be different, or you might coin something around the mission, right? Or just what's our mission, or let's talk about mission, whatever it would be. What is the mission of the gospel? Whatever, you can come up with these things. So hopefully that helps. Again, I mentioned we do the website, so if you have questions, let me know. I'd love to help you, or you can email me and we can figure
I
it out.
will, because we have 4 hours and a half driving, so.
No worries at all. Yeah,
But I will
I know we're about
email
to
you.
go into lunch, but yeah, hopefully, my whole hope in this is that you guys actually walk away with something. And hopefully it was encouraging, or at least like I learned something and I'm gonna take these tools and run back. Yes? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay, I wanna make sure
We did it.
that we did. Thank you guys so much for coming, I really
Thank you.
appreciate it.